In the world of cars, bloodlines matter, heritage sells. A badge can tell 1,000 stories, but even in the same family, not every member gets remembered equally. Two brothers, two fates. In the case of BMW's Z series, we have two strikingly similar shapes with wildly different legacies. The Z3 Coupe and the Z4 Coupe, both rear-wheel drive, both powered by BMW's inline-six engines, both born to drive. And yet ask a room full of enthusiasts about the Z3 Coupe, and you'll likely hear reverent whispers of the clown shoe. A car once mocked, now mythologized. Mention the Z4 Coupe? At best you'll get a nod. Maybe a faint, oh yeah, that one.
Why?
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 Why? That's what this story is about. A tale of design, emotion, risk, refinement, and why one car became a cult hero while the other faded into the shadows of the showroom. This isn't a numbers comparison. It's not about which is faster or more reliable. It's about why one of these siblings stirred something in people, and why the other, despite being newer, better built, and arguably more beautiful, never quite got there. Let's wind the clock back. The origins of the Z3 Coupe, the flawed masterpiece. The late 1990s were weird for car design in a good way. It was a time when manufacturers were still taking chances, especially at BMW. With the Z3 Roadster already out on the street since 1996.
Bingo.
BMW had what you could call a safe hit. A small, stylish two-seater that looked right at home parked in front of a beach house or cruising down Mulholland Drive. It was lightweight, fun, and had just enough BMW prestige to feel premium. But in 1998, someone in Munich decided that the Z3 wasn't weird enough, or rather, that it wasn't practical enough, so they hatched an idea. Take the Z3's platform and turn it into a coupe. But not just any coupe. A shooting brake. A design so rare and niche that most people either don't know the term or immediately love it. The result was divisive. The Z3 Coupe looked nothing like the sleek, curvy roadsters that came before. Its proportions were awkward. It had a long hood, a squished rear, and that bulbous greenhouse. From the rear three-quarter angle, it looked more cartoon than car. Critics were quick to pounce, giving it the nickname clown shoe, meant as an insult, though enthusiasts would later adopt it like a badge of honor. But if the design was bold, the engineering was quietly brilliant. The coupe added rigidity over the convertible, improving handling. And under the hood, BMW's legendary inline-six engines, particularly in the M Coupe variant. In the US, that meant the S52 and later the S54, the same power plant found in the E46 M3. It was fast, it was raw, it was weird, and it was built in BMW's Spartanburg, South Carolina plant, making it one of the rare European sports cars to be born in America. The Z3 Coupe didn't sell well. It confused people. It wasn't sexy in a traditional sense. It was more of a statement piece, like buying a Bauhaus chair or wearing mismatched socks on purpose. But for those who got it, the appeal ran deep. Over time, the oddball charm of the Z3 Coupe became its biggest asset. What was once mocked became collectible. Limited production numbers, fewer than 18,000 worldwide, M-powered variants, and that instantly recognizable silhouette turned it into a cult classic. It was flawed. It was loud. It was unapologetic. And that made it lovable. The arrival of the Z4 Coupe, the perfect second album no one played. By the mid-2000s, BMW was a different company. The wildness of the 90s had begun to simmer. The E46 3 Series was a hit. The X5 was reshaping the SUV market, and there was a new focus on refinement, luxury, and clean design. Out with the eccentric, in with the modern. So when it came time to evolve the Z3, BMW played it smarter, safer, more grown-up. The Z4 Roadster debuted in 2002, followed by the Z4 Coupe in 2006. And where the Z3 Coupe had been an oddball, the Z4 Coupe was, by all accounts, a beautiful car. It had a long hood, sharp lines, and a sloping fastback roof that felt more classical GT than shooting brake. It didn't demand your attention with weirdness, it earned it with elegance.
We got a problem.
But that might have been the problem. Where the Z3 Coupe had shocked and polarized, the Z4 Coupe fit neatly into the BMW design language of the time. It was stylish but restrained, aggressive but not unhinged. It didn't start debates. It ended them politely. Under the skin, the Z4 Coupe was a serious piece of machinery. Built on a stiffer chassis than the Roadster, it handled beautifully. Power came from the naturally aspirated N52 straight 6 in the 3.0C, or, if you went full tilt, the S54-powered Z4M Coupe, a car that shared its engine with the much-loved E46M3. This wasn't some soft GT, it was a proper sports car. But despite its performance credentials, the Z4 Coupe didn't ignite the same emotional fire as its predecessor.
Because maybe I'm not good enough.
Yes, you are.
No, maybe I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Maybe I'm not.
It was objectively better in many ways. Quicker, more refined, more comfortable. Yet it lacked the Z3's offbeat personality. It didn't feel like a rebellion, it felt like a product. And it arrived into a much more competitive world. Porsche had the Cayman, Audi had the TT, even Nissan had the 350Z Coupe. All of them were chasing that same sweet spot, performance and daily usability. The Z4 Coupe found itself among good company, but in blending in, it lost what the Z3 had in spades, a story. Sales reflected that. While BMW sold more Z4s overall than Z3s, the coupe variants remained niche. Enthusiasts liked them, but few loved them. And unlike the Z3, there wasn't a sudden surge of affection years later. No cult, no clowns, just quiet admiration. It's the classic second album syndrome. Technically better, more polished, but missing the raw energy that made the debut unforgettable. Design, soul versus sophistication. Design is more than just aesthetics, it's emotion. It's the gut reaction you get when you see a car parked at a curb or catch a glimpse of it passing by. Some cars make you stop and stare, others slip by unnoticed, however well they're sculpted. This is where the Z3 Coupe and Z4 Coupe truly go their separate ways. Let's start with the Z3 Coupe. You've probably heard it all before. Bulky, awkward, off-balance, weird. Critics weren't gentle when it debuted. With its tall, upright hatch and stubby rear end, it looked like something drawn by a child with a crayon and a wild imagination. And yet, that's exactly what made it interesting. The Z3 Coupe was never designed to be universally loved. It was sculpted for function first. The coupe roof was added to the Roadster platform for structural rigidity, not beauty. In doing so, BMW accidentally created something radical, something with character. It stood apart. It dared to look different. And the longer you looked at it, the more it started to make sense. Like brutalist architecture or Bauhaus furniture, it was form challenging tradition. Over the years, that ugly duckling perception transformed. The car didn't change, but our eyes did.
This is cool. This is a cool car.
What was once mocked as a clown shoe became a design signature. Suddenly, that bulbous rear became iconic. That long hood and pinch greenhouse, instantly recognizable. Love it or hate it, the Z3 Coupe had soul. Now compare that to the Z4 Coupe. From almost every angle, the Z4 Coupe is beautiful. There's no denying that. Designed under the direction of Anders Warming, exterior, and shaped by the larger design vision of Chris Bangle, the Z4 Coupe carries a kind of crisp minimalism, strong character lines, a sleek, fastback silhouette, classic long hood, short deck proportions that echo grand tourers of old. It looks fast, even when it's standing still. It's tasteful, timeless even. But here's the twist.
Well, what's happening?
The Z4 Coupe's beauty might have worked against it. In trying to be sleek and elegant, the Z4 lost the raw identity that made the Z3 so unforgettable. It blended into the design language of the era. Yes, it's cleaner. Yes, it's more balanced. But it's also safer. Designed not to offend, rather than to excite. Where the Z3 Coupe looked like nothing else on the road, the Z4 looked like a modern BMW should. And while that might please the eye, it doesn't always grab the heart. In the end, the Z3 Coupe became iconic because it was misunderstood. The Z4 Coupe was admired, but not obsessed over. It's the difference between art you put in a gallery and art you tattoo on your body. Driving experience, raw versus refined. You can look at spec sheets all day. Horsepower, torque, 0 to 60 times, but those numbers don't tell you what a car feels like. The truth of a driving experience lives in your hands, your spine, the back of your neck. That's where the Z3 Coupe and Z4 Coupe take their most dramatic turn, not on paper, but behind the wheel. Let's start with the Z3 Coupe. Driving one feels like being let loose in a wild animal park without a guide. It's not polished, it's not quiet. The chassis talks to you constantly, and if you push too hard in the corners, especially in the non-M variants without traction control, it'll snap at you like a dog on a short leash. But that's the beauty of it. The Z3 Coupe, especially in its M form, feels alive. The steering is heavy but communicative. The throttle response is sharp. The whole car vibrates with energy. You don't drive it, you wrestle with it. And somewhere in that rawness, in that unpredictability, it becomes an experience. The weight distribution, while close to 50-50, isn't perfect. The short rear end makes it feel a little tail-happy. The suspension can get unsettled, but all of that feeds into its charm. It keeps you alert, honest, engaged. It's the kind of car that doesn't flatter the driver. It challenges them. And when you get it right, it rewards you with an adrenaline high few modern cars can match. Now step into the Z4 Coupe, and it's a whole different kind of conversation. Here, refinement takes the front seat. The chassis is noticeably more rigid. The steering, while still hydraulic, is more precise, less talkative. The suspension is stiffer, but more composed. It feels like a machine that knows what it's doing. Especially in the Z4M Coupe, you still get the glorious S54 straight six singing past 7,500 RPM. It's quick, very quick, and in a straight line, it'll edge out its older brother. But where the Z3 feels like a backroad brawler, the Z4 is more of a trained assassin. It's poised, calculated, surgical. That doesn't mean it's dull, not by a long shot. The Z4M Coupe has been praised for its balance, grip, and high-speed confidence. But it doesn't quite provoke the same visceral thrill. It doesn't feel like it's fighting you, and maybe that's what holds it back in the hearts of purists. The Z4 Coupe feels like BMW trying to perfect the formula. And they almost did, but in smoothing out the edges, they lost the unpredictable flavor that made the Z3 so compelling. In the end, driving the Z3 Coupe is like going to a dive bar with a live punk band. Messy, loud, but unforgettable. Driving the Z4 Coupe? More like attending a symphony. Flawless execution, undeniable skill, but maybe a little too polished. Cultural impact and legacy. The cult and the collector. You can't always predict which cars will become legends. Some explode on impact, others take decades to find their crowd. But when it comes to cultural legacy, the Z3 and Z4 coupes took two very different roads. Let's start with the Z3 Coupe. It didn't sell in huge numbers when new, just over 17,000 units worldwide, including fewer than 7,000 M coupes. It was quirky, misunderstood, and largely ignored by mainstream buyers. But that, ironically, is exactly what made it matter. Over time, the Z3 Coupe built a cult following.
I like you.
I like you.
I like you.
People didn't just like it, they loved it. Passionately, obsessively. Owners gave it nicknames like Clown Shoe, Bread Van, or Shooting Brake on Acid. Forums popped up, Instagram pages dedicated to nothing but Z3 coupes, meetups, stickers, t-shirts. This was more than appreciation, it was identity. Owning a Z3 coupe wasn't about status, it was about being in on a secret, being part of a tribe. And like all cult classics, rarity drove up demand. What once sat unsold on dealer lots now commands serious prices, especially the M versions. Today, low-mileage Z3M coupes regularly push six figures. Collectors want them, drivers want them, even people who once mocked them now search for them on Bring a Trailer with wistful regret. The Z3 Coupe's legacy is proof that time rewards the brave. Now, let's shift to the Z4 Coupe. It had all the right ingredients, better performance, refined design, even that glorious S54 engine in the M version. It was a solid machine, objectively excellent, but it never quite became a phenomenon. There are no widespread nicknames, no memes, no ironic fan clubs.
The Z4M Coupe is one of the prettiest cars BMW have ever made.
You almost forget how good this engine is, and then you get the chance to drive it again.
The Z4 Coupe has admirers, yes, but few evangelists. It's the car people respect, not worship. The one that gets the polite nod at a Cars and Coffee event, but not the crowd around it. Part of this comes down to timing. The mid-2000s were a more conservative automotive era. BMW's identity was shifting. Enthusiasts were looking backward to E30s and forward to E92 M3s. The Z4 Coupe fell into a weird in-between. Too new to be vintage, too old to be modern. Even today, the Z4 Coupe remains undervalued in the market. It's still a bit of a sleeper. Great to drive, elegant to look at, and relatively rare. But it hasn't had its cultural moment. Not yet. It might get there eventually. As analog cars continue to fade, the Z4's raw connection and S54 magic could start to shine brighter. But it will always live in the Z3 Coupe's shadow, not because it wasn't good, but because it wasn't weird. In car culture, weird wins. Why we remember one and not the other. In the world of cars, it's not always the fastest, the most refined, or the most beautiful that make the deepest impressions. Sometimes it's the ones that break the mold, that challenge our perceptions, or even make us laugh. And when we look back at the BMW Z3 Coupe and the BMW Z4 Coupe, it's clear the Z3 Coupe won the hearts, and the Z4 Coupe didn't. The Z3 Coupe was an anomaly, a misfit, a statement. BMW could have played it safe, made a more conventional coupe, and probably sold a lot more cars. Instead, they decided to create something bold, daring, and imperfect. And in doing so, they created something that would resonate with the car community for decades. The clown shoe might have been a punchline in its early days, but it has since become a punchline with a twist. A car so unapologetically itself that you can't help but love it. On the other hand, the Z4 Coupe was a more polished effort. A car that checked all the right boxes. It was refined, fast, and undeniably capable. It was everything you'd expect from a BMW coupe in the mid-2000s. But sometimes being everything you expect is the same as being forgettable. The Z4 Coupe didn't have the rawness of the Z3. It didn't have the rebellious energy that makes cars memorable. It didn't challenge conventions. It adhered to them. That's not to say the Z4 Coupe is a bad car. It's far from it. It's simply not a car that stirs emotion in the same way. It doesn't have the personality or soul of the Z3 Coupe. It's like comparing a great pop song to a timeless rock anthem. Both might be well-crafted, but one will have you singing along for years to come, while the other might fade into the background. In the end, the Z3 Coupe became a cult icon because it stood for something. It was a rebellion against the norm. It was a car that didn't ask for approval, and that's what made it unforgettable. The Z4 Coupe, despite all its technical achievements, simply didn't ask enough of the world. And as a result, it's the Z3 that we remember. The legacy lives on. Today, both the Z3 and Z4 Coupes have become rare sights on the road, but while the Z4 may have its share of loyal followers, it's the Z3 Coupe that holds a special place in the hearts of enthusiasts. Perhaps in 20 years, the Z4 Coupe will enjoy a resurgence, recognized as the classic it truly is. But for now, the Z3 Coupe remains the one that got away, and the one that will always have a place in the hearts of those who love a little weirdness in their cars.